Good evening and welcome to a special edition of After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I am Ted Ings. We are gathered tonight, heart strong for Sean Kingrey, our great brother, sending all of our love and prayers. This is a special edition with his friends and an update on his condition. Sean has had open heart surgery today, Wednesday, September 27th, 2023, and we're going to get an update on how he is doing. So, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the folks who are with us on the screen. Sophie Jordan Collins is here. John Fairchild is with us. We are live. John is with us from Maui with his new bride, Angela. Angela Fairchild now, congratulations to both of you. Michelle McLain is with us tonight. Owen Moon is with us as well from Digital. And we've also got Sean's daughter, Jalissa, at the hospital with his good friend Kathy Bates. And Michelle, before I turn it over to Jalissa and Kathy, Michelle, give us an update because you've been following this all day long as well.
Oh, absolutely. So for those of you who may not know, our dear friend Sean Kingrey experienced some severe heart things that happened. He's been in the hospital since Monday night, and today he had to have heart surgery. He's currently sleeping, but we wanted to just come here together and do what we always do as a family, not only just in automotive, but at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, and just let him know that we are sending so many hugs and heartfelt wishes and prayers for a speedy recovery. Obviously, you know, our automotive community, we've been going through a whole lot here over the last few months, it seems. And, you know, life is very, very short. So hug the ones that you love. Just let people know that you care. And that being said, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And I'm going to let Kathy and Jalissa kind of give us a more in-depth update on Sean since they are there at the hospital with him.
Well, Jalissa just saw him last. I'll let her. But I went in earlier. He's resting there, trying to get him to the point that he can come off the vent. Jalissa went in a while ago and spoke to the nurses and seen him as well.
Yeah, he looks great. They've got him very comfortable finally. He stopped fighting all the tubes, which is great. They're trying to just keep him very comfortable and out of as much pain as possible to keep his stats under control. And once he wakes up and stops startling, they're hoping to start taking the vent out and start some breathing exercises with him to see if they can fully take it out. But he looks great back there. And soon enough, he'll be up and running again.
I see Tully Williams is with us in the chat. Corey Kohler from Go Moto is with us. Corey, I saw your post earlier that you just saw Sean last week at the Mopar conference down in Florida, and we followed all those developments as well. If you're following us on LinkedIn tonight, everybody, I just put a new link up on LinkedIn. The first one may not have taken, so if you do a quick search on LinkedIn, this should come up. You should have been notified. I see that room is filling up now pretty quick. So take us through this, Jalissa and Kathy. Jalissa, I know you came up, and Kathy, you came up special as well. Kathy, you were with Sean on Monday evening, and he was experiencing some pain. And kind of take us through that, because I think your quick action saved his life on Monday night.
Well, he had been thinking that, and the doctors had been telling him he had acid reflux, and that was a severe chest pain. Nothing that he described to me that I've had acid reflux, and known plenty of people that had it. It just didn't sound right. Monday evening, he was talking and grabbed his chest and doubled over, and he's just like, I just need to let this pass. And I said, okay. So I gave him that opportunity, and then I finally said, Sean, is it radiating down any of your arms? And he said, my left one. And I said, well, you have one or two options. I was like, we get in the truck and go to the emergency room, or I call the ambulance. And he couldn't walk. So it was called the ambulance. And we went to the emergency room, and he had been actively having a heart attack. So then we went into the emergency room from the EMTs and the fire department all the way down to everything. They have been wonderful here, and fast action has got him to where he is now, and we're grateful for that. And I always said it, anybody that asked me, Jissa is his voice of reasoning. So if he decides to be stubborn, she puts him in line. So it's great.
All right. Well, He speaks so highly of you all the time, and great to meet you. I wish the circumstances were a little bit better to do that, but take us through it. You came up, was it yesterday, and talked to us a little bit about what happened.
Yeah, he called yesterday, and we were trying to decide what was going to happen. At the time, they had thought they would hope that there were just going to be a couple stents put in, right, and he would be on his way. And turns out it ended up being a little bit more serious than that. And we all know that Sean is very stubborn, and he was refusing to do anything at that point. And so after a little coercing and maybe a little bit of yelling and a little bit of threat, we got to the point where he is today, and he's having his surgery today. So glad that we were able to influence him to finally make the call at the end of all this. but no, and then we hung out with him last night. We got here late last night. He wanted to see his grandson. So Elijah's here with us, his grandson. And he wanted to spend some time with him before he went into surgery. And so we left, I don't know, probably like 11:30 last night. Mm-hmm. And then they wheeled him down at like 11:30 this morning to wheel him back. Yeah.
He was, I'm not sure I want to do this. And she said, that's not an option. So we're doing this. So his longevity is great with this, and everything went well, went smooth, went well, and went quicker than we expected. So we're very, very pleased, very happy to see that he's still here with us.
A lot of Sean's friends are in the chat tonight. Friends from Affinitive. I see Jeff Jackson on the screen, Jeff Bogaski as well. Thank you so much. Steve Apicella, thank you so much for reaching out. Sticks Brown, we got you the drumsticks today that you sent. Thank you so much. David Lucas, Stephen Reiter out of Chicago is here as well. Thank you for all, and thank you for all the prayers. David Lucas out in Australia this morning, where it is Thursday morning. So, I spoke to Sean and Kathy this morning on the phone, and we had a good laugh. I said, "What are you doing?" Because he was a couple hours out from the surgery, not many, just a couple. And he said, "I'm watching Pawn Stars on TV." And we had some jokes about that series. But so, tell us a little bit, because he was supposed to be in a much longer surgery, we had heard, and then Kathy, you notified me. And Jeremy Stevens, good evening. Kathy, the surgeon came out just at about 3 hours, which was less than expected, with some really good news.
It was really good news. In the process, as Jessa said, he went down for a heart cath. They told us with the heart cath that it would be an hour to an hour and a half. The nurse stepped in the room, and it was 40 minutes later. She said he's on his way back up. I just sighed. That scared me. So I said, "Can you?" She said, "No, the cardiologist will come in and speak with you." And I said, "Okay." So they wheeled him back in, and I could tell by the look on his face. So immediately the team came in and said, "Stents are not an option. We cannot do it. He has to have open heart surgery." So today we were told 4 to 6 hours, give or take ish. So it was when the doctor showed up early. With my previous experience from the heart cath, our hearts just dropped, and he just asked for Jessa, and he smiled, and he said everything went great. He's in the room. We're going to work on getting him comfortable. So it was probably a little over an hour that he was back in ICU before we could see him. And they did explain to us that is because when he gets in there, all the tubes and the ventilation and everything that they had, they just need to get him situated and a little bit comfortable. They let us take a small amount of time. Don't want him agitated because, he, as she explained, he already is. So he's just kind of, I know it's an uncomfortable feeling. I can only imagine, but they're doing great things back there, and we're not going anywhere. We're here for him. And I do want to tell every single one of you that the prayers are being answered, they're being heard, and he loves every single one of you. He talks about you every day.
Yep. I see John Traver is with us tonight. John, good evening. Great friend of the retail community, great friend for a long time, great friend of Sean Kingrey. And John Traver, your team was just out there. in Wisconsin. And Owen, you were part of that as well. And Owen, very grateful to you for, all that you do for the industry and the great work that you're doing, Sean Kingery, with Kaiser Automotive Group as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Sean now for a couple of years. We had a business relationship first, and obviously through that, we've become really good friends, and a guy that I have the utmost respect for. I've had a rough week. I had a friend who lost a daughter Monday, and as I was flying home from the West Coast last night, I got your text about Sean, and so I'm just like, man, the blows just keep coming. I will say this. And I kind of thinking a little bit through this today as the day went on, like, why did this happen? How did this happen? God is weird. He does some amazing things, right? All I can think of is that he set this up because this would have happened whether Sean was in Florida, maybe, right? Whether he's in Wisconsin, maybe he'd set this up to put Sean in some of the best care that he knew that Sean would be where he's at today. And maybe that was the reason why that he came to Wisconsin and to get this done with some really great doctors and that type of thing. Who knows? I just, obviously this could be a huge part of why Sean's here today is the care that he's receiving up there. So definitely grateful for that and blessed to call him a friend.
And you know who else we're grateful to when we call a friend, a great friend, is our dear friend John Fairchild, because without John Fairchild, I would not personally know Sean Kingery. John introduced Sean Kingery to the Fixed Ops Roundtable a couple of years ago. John, I know you just got married to Angela. Congratulations. You're on your honeymoon. You're less than 24 hours newlywed. So, it's a little giddy out there. The audio is a little funky. So we've got you on video and not audio, but you guys look great. And John, we're very grateful to the friendship because really it's through you, John, that Owen and that Michelle and that Sophie and that, folks like Tony Owens, John Traver, Julie Douglas, Steve Apicella, your comments in the chat are very heartfelt. And you're right. It's why is it moments like this, right, that brings everybody together. But, there's a tremendous camaraderie. And then, Michelle, I think the flowers that you sent yesterday have been received. And talk to us about those because they have a special meaning for Sean Kingery. I know you were insistent on it, and I'm glad that you send those particular ones.
No, anytime something, people know me. Like I'm one of those people that whether I'm sending flowers or a gift or a special trinket or something to anybody, it's just got to be personal. It has to be something that they would like, not something that I would like or Ted would like. And, we were going to send this big, huge bouquet of flowers. And I was like, Ted, I'm like, this is Sean Kingery we're talking about. I'm like, he's the biggest Packers fan in the world. And so we did an arrangement in a Green Bay Packers mug with Green Bay colored flowers. I believe there were lilies and roses and some other things in it. And it got delivered today. So, it ended up being beautiful. But, I want to say this to everybody here that's watching because as you can see, I'm getting choked up. Guys, we work in an industry. Some of us work very heavily in it. Some of us are entrepreneurs with our own companies where we work in the automotive industry, but we do other things. And it's so easy for each and every single one of us to just get caught up in the busyness. Like I'm an entrepreneur, Owen's an entrepreneur, John's like everybody on here, we're all in automotive. We've all worked and come from dealership backgrounds, but especially as an entrepreneur or a dealership manager or an owner, it is so incredibly easy to get lost from 60 to out to 70 to 80 to 100 sometimes hours a week because we're so dedicated to what we do. And I just want to take this moment to remind each and every person here, especially men, because you're typically more stubborn. I probably fall into that very stubborn category too, as I know Ted and John and many people here do. Like we just don't know when to quit, right? We don't. We're workaholics. We love what we do. It doesn't feel like work because we absolutely love what we do every day. But there comes a point in time where you have to take a step back. Take your weekends, take your nights, like take an hour a day for yourself. Do something self-care. Like I'm having to learn this myself the hard way because I don't know when to quit either. But please, like I said, I know men especially, like, you struggle with saying I have a problem. You don't want to appear weak. Like, God forbid Sean had thought this was, acid reflux and it was a heart attack. And I think sometimes we tend to, as human beings in general, like, we put things aside because we're like, no, I have to travel, or I have to be here, or I have to do this, or I have to do that. And we're all guilty of it. So if we take nothing else away from not just this situation with Sean Kingery, but, the situation that, of course, Sean Butler's going through because he said he waited too long, just please, like, better safe than sorry. Like, even if you think that it's outrageous and like you have 10 million things to do, guys, take the time, like, get out. My husband had to force drag me to a hospital last month with a kidney infection that I was just like, oh, it's just cramps, I'm okay. And it ended up being a really bad kidney infection. I had 104-degree fever because, like, we just keep going, right? So, like I said, if we take nothing else away from this tonight, like, please, everybody just check yourself and say, listen, like, this can wait. My health is more important. Like, take care of yourself, please. Like, if I say nothing else to any of you tonight from my heart, please take care of yourself.
Michelle, great advice for all of us. And by the way, everybody, Sean Kingery is out of surgery. If you're joining us late tonight, Sean is recovering. He's in the hospital. We're not going to release the name of the hospital, but if you want more information or if you want to send something, Kathy Bates, a great friend of the Fixed Ops Roundtable, is with Sean today, along as with Sean's daughter, Jalissa. And Kathy, this is your cell phone that's on the screen. They can call or text.
That's right. Absolutely.
All right. So if you want information on Sean, everybody, reach out to Kathy. And Kathy and Jalissa, give us some more feedback as to, what's next and what's ahead for Sean.
Their biggest chore right now is to get him off the ventilator. They can't do anything until we get to that process, is getting him off the ventilator. And I do think after that, did they say they were getting him up in the chair? They were going to get him up in the chair and go to that point. At this point, it's kind of left up to him, and the aggravation I can understand. When you go under anesthesia or anything like that, and then we all know Sean's personality, but it's to get him through, get him off of that and go to that point. And I think too, on the being dedicated to the car dealership business, I think we all are, because besides the fact that we're stressing out about his surgery, his words were, when can I drive and can I go back to work on Monday? That was the two questions.
What about my dealership?
That was it. So
I wouldn't have expected anything else.
right.
That's how we all are in this business.
Mm-hmm. We'll know more though, based on how he does until the point of midnight. But they told both of us that their goal is to have him off that ventilator by midnight tonight.
Nice.
Well, and Kathy and Jalissa, you've both seen Sean now post surgery.
We have.
Is there anything that would make him more comfortable? I mean, like, can we send like a Green Bay Packers blanket, or like, what are the things that he needs? Because obviously with Amazon, most of the time we can overnight stuff. So if there's anything that you see that he really just wants to be comfortable, obviously the hospital does an okay job, but it's nothing like just having something of your own. So if there's anything that you guys need, like, please feel free. You can get my cell phone number from Ted. Like, I will overnight it. If you guys need anything while you're staying there at the hospital, like, please just reach out to us. Like, we'll get you whatever you need. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's very kind. Thank you.
And I do know that we do know that he will be in ICU for at least 3 days. And then after those 3 days, he will come out and go to a different part of the hospital. And that's just all in the rehabilitation process. So the length of time depends on his process. So we can look at maybe not 3 days in ICU, maybe we do 2 days in ICU, and then we have 5 to 6 days after that. It might not last that long, just depending on him. I know he's a pusher. Jalissa, when he had a stroke the first time, she was there with him. And again, she's the voice of reason. She's his cheerleader, and she pushes him. And I believe he went back to work in like 5 days after he had his stroke and came out and whatever. So he's a determined individual. So I will not be surprised if those days, John Fairchild says 5. So I would not be surprised if those days shrink up for us because of his determination.
Yep. Sarah Van Tyne is with us. Sarah, thank you so much. We are glad he's out of surgery. And John Fairchild. I remember when Sean Kingery had that stroke, he he wasn't too quick to tell folks about that. I remember being very shocked and surprised. Jalissa, you don't live locally. Where did you come in from, if you don't mind?
Yeah, well, from the stroke, I was in Charlotte, but we actually just relocated to Iowa to be closer, nearby, so he could be closer with his grandkids. So originally from Iowa, so we came back to be close by. So only about 4 hours in, not too bad.
Jeff, I see Robert Migliaccio in the chat. Robert, thank you so much. Jeff Bogaski from Affinitive has a great question. He's asking, what does Sean's daughter need? So, tell us about you guys, because, we want to help you as well. We know that you are both, not local. You've come in for this special. How can we help you, and how can we help support you?
Very sweet. Your guys' prayers is really all that we need. You guys are amazing. Again, when I tell you, he talks about each one of you all the time. I feel like I know you, and I've never met you, to be honest. But no, we really don't need anything. We've been staying over here at a hotel. They've been wonderful. And I've got my husband and my son with me. My in-laws are watching my 2 girls. We got 3 kids total. So everyone's taken care of. On our
food
front.
Delivered to you. I mean, anything, like whatever you guys need, seriously.
I appreciate that.
We're those
really.
people.
I appreciate it. If you guys just keep praying and thinking about him, and pray for us to deal with him, because he is a full-time job. But other than that,
that is the big thing. Prayers.
Yes.
I agree. We're fine. We've got each other, and he's got us. And the biggest thing is the prayers are being felt. They're working, and please keep them coming. He has a long road ahead of him. Even though he's the great pusher that he is, he has a recovery.
Kathy, he told me that Sean Baxter visited the hospital yesterday. Sean Baxter is the president of the Kaiser Automotive Group. I don't know if you were there for that, but I heard some great feedback about that. What can you tell us about that visit?
Sean is a great person. I will tell you, that's the first time I've ever met him, ever spoke to him, know anything about him. And they tell you, the first impression is the lasting impression, and he made one. He's a great guy. It seemed like the whole family there is wonderful. And his main concentration was, what can I do for you, Sean? So he was, he's a great guy. I don't think he could be working for a better group of people. So, and Sean, he keeps, update or whatever, but he's a great guy.
Steve Western, good evening. Glad to hear that Sean has come through okay. And Kathy, if you passed Sean Baxter in the hall, you wouldn't know he's the dealer principal, would you?
You would not. You absolutely would not. And so he has a great personality, and he would literally be somebody you'd pass by and thinks he's a normal, one of us. Not that but he is wonderful.
John and Owen, I'll ask Owen this question because his audio is on. Owen, when we were up there with John Fairchild just last month, I would not have known that Sean Baxter was the dealer principal until, he started speaking, and then he was on that panel. And I was very impressed, Owen, with, the ownership there.
Yeah, just like I said, kind of that Midwest values, kind of the, kind of fit in with everybody. But once he started to kind of talk about their family business and all that, you could tell that he was definitely the one that's sort of leading the charge for that group. And they all seemed like great people. The little time I did get to chat with them.
John Fairchild, I know you know this gentleman in the chat, Damon Decker. Owen, forgive me, I'll mention the name of his company. It's Team Velocity Marketing. Damon, good to see you. And I know you spend a lot of time with Sean and with John Fairchild in Florida, Damon. And thank you, for the prayers. They go a long way. And thank you to the team there at Team Velocity, Justin, and all the folks, and David, for all the things that you do for our industry. Damon, very, very much appreciated. And a lot of these relationships, Damon, I can attribute to you early on with the Fixed Ops Roundtable. So thank you for getting involved so early. And Jalissa, look at Sean he's a very wealthy man. He's got a lot of great friends.
Lots of friends, and he loves all of you. Let me tell you, he loves all of you. So it's so good to see.
Yep. Tony Owens, we appreciate you as well. And I know you do, Damon. So,
Damon's great.
Yeah, Damon's fantastic. So love it. So Michelle, we're here to help in any way we can. Sean is going to have a long road back. he's got a difficult day, a couple days that'll be difficult, but really it's the beginning of I talked to Tony about this type of surgery last night, and we both know people who've gone through it who are dear to us. Michelle, it is going to be a long road back for Sean.
Oh, it absolutely is. And in times like these, that's why I'm just so blessed to be a part of this amazing industry, because we really do come together. We rally around our tribe of people. And whether you've known us for a week, a month, a year, or forever, that's literally just what we do. Like if one of us is down, like everybody's going to flock and go, what can we do? How can we help? And I'm sure that there are other industries in the world that are similar to that. But my heart is always and has always will be automotive in one capacity or another. And I think we can all agree that this is truly one of the best industries in the world, and we're like family.
It is. Jalissa, Robert Migliaccio at Carter Myers Automotive in Virginia is asking a question in the chat. Is there a Venmo or Cash App we can send some support to you all?
I'd probably pay it forward in Diet Coke. That's all he's been asking for. If you did send anything, that's all he's asked for all morning and all night last night. If you wanted to, my name's Jalissa Hayward. You can find me on Venmo. I'll just give him all that money in Diet Coke. But nothing for me at all. Thank you. It's very kind of you. But it would all go to him anyway.
Is he actually going to be able to eat and drink at any point here in the next day or so? Or are they keeping him just on liquids? Or what is he able to eat?
They're going to graduate him into actually eating. So he will start out on liquid diet. He did ask them, could he start on the Diet Coke for his liquid diet?
Yeah, of course he did.
But that's what they're going to start out with, the liquid, and then progress him into. Of course, it's a dietary plan for the surgery that he went through, and then progress him on up to being able to eat solid foods.
So, Sophie, I knew that Sean was fond of Diet Coke. I didn't know how fond until I went to his office. He has a little actually quite a big refrigerator in his office, and he opened it up, and Sophie, it is stocked. I mean, stocked with Diet Coke. In fact, Sophie, when I was there, I think I had a couple every day, and I don't normally drink that at all. So, Sophie, what are your thoughts about this automotive community now that you're getting to see it firsthand?
Yeah, it really is so amazing, as Michelle was saying, just to see how you guys all come together. Even as we were talking kind of before jumping onto this call, just how it's quite a tough time for some people in our Fixed Ops family. I feel like there's been a lot of health hardships lately for a lot of people in this industry. So just seeing how you guys all come together and support one another is so beautiful. The community that can come from hard events. So yeah,
we rally together. Owen, any closing thoughts tonight as we get the good news that Sean Kingrey is out of surgery?
No, just obviously pray. He's not completely out of the woods yet, as we know. Just needs to rest and listen to his doctors and his daughter. So
Exactly.
we'll be praying on this end. I know I reached out to a few people in my circle and let everyone know that kind of what's going on, and everybody wishes him nothing but a fast and speedy recovery, and hopefully we'll be back fighting about the NFC North sometime soon, because he knows I'm a diehard Vikings fan. We actually talked about going to the Vikings-Packers game this year in Minneapolis, so hopefully that maybe can still happen.
Now, is that a rivalry?
It's a rivalry, yes. It's a pretty big rivalry, yes. See, we can even still be friends through all that. No, Sean's great, and it's kind of that kind of stuff that kind of brings you together. So definitely a great guy that I have nothing but respect for, and become a really good friend of. And just hopefully the next 24, 48 hours is going to be step in the right direction for him, and we'll all be praying for him. So,
and Jalissa, he promised me this fall a Packers game. I'm still planning on coming out there. So whenever he's ready, I want to go to the Packers game with him. I know
he's quite the host. I'll tell you. It is nothing else to go to a Packers game with Sean. So you'll love it. He'll definitely show you all the things. It'll be great.
Hopefully it's December, Ted. I'd like to look at you freezing out there. Can't wear a shirt though. That's what they do. They take their shirts off in Lambeau. So
yeah,
we need to get Ted a big cheese head.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the shirts at Northwood, because Mike Stoll said that next week when Sarah and Sophie and I go out there, we're just getting the T-shirts. He said no tattoos this year. The tattoos are next year. Okay, Owen, the Northwood.
Perfect.
But don't forget, Owen, I lived in Buffalo, New York for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I went to a lot of Buffalo Bills games. And let me tell you, that was no picnic either. So
it can get cold up there too, for sure.
Yeah. So, everybody, if you want to reach out for more information on how Sean is doing or want to send something, Kathy Bates is with us tonight. She'll be there at least for the next several days, if not more. Her cell phone is on the screen, 334-488-1031. You can text her or call her for updates, as well as if you want to send anything as well. And Kathy, we're very grateful to you for saving his life the other night. And Jalissa, thank you for all you do, to keep him in check.
Yes, thank you for all the prayers, guys. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you.
Lots.
All
Keep
right.
them coming, please.
All right. So this has been a special edition, everybody, of After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Our great friend Sean Kingery is out of surgery. He's resting tonight and still has a long road back. But we're grateful to spend this time with Jalissa and with Kathy, and grateful that they were able to come and be at the hospital with him during this time. So on behalf of Sophie Jordan Collins, Owen Moon, and Michelle McLain, and Sean's family and friends, I'm Ted Ings, and we will see you back here on Monday evening for the next edition of After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Thank you, everybody, for your well wishes.